Good afternoon. It is our pleasure to stand before you today to tell you about the pieces of art we saw during our trip to Boston. The Museum of Fine Arts has large exhibits of ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, which have many depictions of women symbolizing many cultural ideals. We will present 9 works which we think could fit into an exhibit showing different representations of women over multiple centuries, including elements of fertility, beauty, power, motherhood, and royalty. These elements encapsulate the variety of representations across the 3 ancient cultures.
To start off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ailey Chang and I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I was born in Puerto Rico and I have lived in New York City for more than 10 years. I am no stranger to art museums, having been to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Guggenheim, the MoMA, and many others. I'm currently a student at Boston University and I could not be more excited to present you with the artworks we selected from the MFA.
Welcome, Board of Directors. My name is Milena Campos, and I would like to thank you for taking your time to hear us today. Before we start, let me tell you a little about myself. I am a first-generation American and college student. My family is originally from Brazil, and I was born in Everett, Massachusetts.
Hello, Board. Thank you again for hearing about our Perspective Art exhibit. My name is Ryan Sullivan, and I am originally from Boston, Massachusetts, currently studying there as a college freshman. Living in such trying times, my colleagues and I thought choosing the representation of women would be a great fit for your museum in being more inclusive to disenfranchised groups that are scarcely portrayed equally.
I will begin by taking you through some of the works of art we selected from ancient Egypt. First, I'd like to introduce this figure vase in the form of a woman and child. It is a little clay vessel from the New Kingdom, mid-Dynasty 18. It depicts a kneeling woman holding a child she is about to nurse in her lap. The small size and narrow mouth suggest that the vase was meant to hold a precious substance such as a mother's milk. Reminiscent of Isis and Horus, as pictured on the right, this figure vase demonstrates how women in ancient Egypt were viewed as symbols of motherhood and fertility. As the son of Isis and Osiris, Horus was the rightful heir to Egypt's throne. To hide him from his jealous uncle, Isis took the infant Horus to the Delta marshes, shielding him with her magic. Isis is a model of a protective and caring mother. The statue of Lady Senui is a large-scale stone statue from the Middle Kingdom, Dynasty 12. It portrays Senui, the wife of a powerful governor of Asia in central Egypt. She is a slender, graceful young woman dressed in the tightly fitting sheath dress that was fashionable at the time. Her face is framed by a long, thick, strided wig, conveying serene confidence and timeless beauty. Senui sits poised and attentive on a solid, block-like chair, with her left hand resting flat on her lap and her right hand holding a lotus blossom, a symbol of rebirth. As one of the most superbly carved and beautifully proportioned sculptures from the Middle Kingdom, Senui is elegantly seated, expressing how some women in ancient Egypt were graceful and idealized for their beauty. The head of a female sphinx comes from ancient Egypt in the Middle Kingdom. This nearly life-size head of a royal woman was originally part of a bigger sphinx. The ancient Egyptians viewed sphinxes as symbols of royal authority and manifestations of the sun god. Accordingly, both male and female members of the royal family had themselves portrayed as sphinxes. We can tell she is royalty through the urious cobra on the brow of her wig. During this time period, beauty was found in a woman with a rounded face, straight long hair, and exaggerated facial features. When compared to the idealized youthfulness of Lady Senui, this face is decidedly more lifelike. Her full cheeks and high cheekbones convey a sense of individuality and maturity often lacking in representations of Egyptian women.
The head of Aphrodite, also known as the Bartlett head, comes from ancient Greece in the late Classical or early Hellenistic period around 330 to 300 BCE. Aphrodite's head was once a fragment of a full-length figure. Many Greek pieces have been replicated by Romans, yet this one has survived to be one of the finest pieces of the ancient Greek aesthetic today. Aphrodite is known as the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility in ancient Greece. Her beauty can be apparent at any angle through the contour of the marble. Her hair is brushed in gentle waves, and her features are similar to those of Praxiteles due to her dewy eyes, radiance, and sense of charm. She is a representation of ideal beauty through the delicate features. From the late Classical period is Woman from a Funerary Monument. Originating from ancient Greece at 330 to 325 BCE, is an over-life-size sculpture at about 201 centimeters in height. The monument is made of marble and can be found in Mount Pentelicon near Athens. The over-life-size standing woman is one of the most remarkable monumental funerary markers to be discovered. You can tell she was of great importance due to her size and her hair, which contains a braided tiara. The funerary monument demonstrate her potential royalty and her power in society. Head of a goddess or queen comes from ancient Greece during the Hellenistic period from around 300 to 270 BCE. This life-size human head is entirely made of bronze. It is assumed to be a portrait of a Ptolemaic queen Arsinoe II or an image of a goddess such as Artemis or Aphrodite. Because it was found in Egypt, it is unclear.
Juno is a Roman statue from the early 1st century CE. Standing at 13 feet tall and weighing approximately 13,000 pounds, it is the largest classical sculpture in any museum in the United States. Here we see the goddess crowned with a crescent diadem, a type of ornamental headband typically associated with her status as the protector of Rome. Juno is the patron goddess of Rome, marriage, and childbirth, which are two themes essential to women in ancient times. Juno is closely connected to all parts of women's lives, particularly their role in marriage as birth givers and protectors of the home. Although this colossal statue would be difficult to transport, it would be a perfect focal point in the center of the exhibit as the embodiment of female power. Athena Parthenos, a Roman statue from the 2nd or 3rd centuries, was a replica of the original which stood in the Parthenon in Greece. The model represents an icon of the classical age, a warrior goddess who defies the roles of gender. Athena was important in the representation of women's loyalty to military success. Athens, the capital of Greece, named after its patron goddess, emphasizes her cultural significance. Here we see an up-close view of the goddess's breastplate. The head of Medusa is in the middle of her breast, showing Athena's success in battle against her. Her strength in war was critical in Athenian nationalism, which was usually credited to men. Athena's success can be attributed to her wisdom, unlike males of the time who used brute force to dominate war. Her strength was a model of female dominance unseen before. Venus, or Roman lady of the Roman imperial period, replicates the Greek goddess of love, sex, beauty, and fertility. This sculpture is draped in gauze-like folds to show the natural contour of her body. This representation shows her left breast covered by a chiton, which differed from the Greek style. Roman depictions of Venus present her more modestly, but over time they became more revealing. Later representations of Venus would often depict her in the nude. The birth of Venus, painted during the Renaissance, was influenced by the original sculpture. Romans held beauty to a high standard, such that Venus's body was mirrored in other products as the ideal body of a woman. These artworks were pivotal in positively representing women and glorifying their natural body.
Ancient Egypt was a society dominated by men. However, through the pieces of art we've seen, it is evident that although women may not have been able to own properties or exert rules, they were valued for their roles in motherhood and fertility. They were protective of their children and they helped populate the region. Some women were even royals, supporting their powerful husbands and being idealized for their beauty and elegance.
In ancient Greek society, men had more power than women. Men had the right to vote and own property, while women were to carry out household tasks. Despite the fact that women were limited in their roles in society, the roles they did carry were vital. Therefore, the interpretation of women in ancient Greek art was to demonstrate the power and importance of women in society.
Ancient Roman society idealized motherhood, military dominance, and natural beauty. Rome was founded, led, and protected by men, but the women will never be forgotten thanks to artworks like these that immortalize their place in history. From caregivers to warriors, artists showed women in a variety of ways to uplift them. Although they faced harsh suppression, this exhibit will further share their story of strength and courage. Our goal in putting these pieces in one exhibition is to demonstrate how women were represented across Egyptian, Greek, and Roman cultures. Different cultures valued women for different reasons, and each of these societies had unique takes on their representation. Elements of these societies, such as motherhood, beauty, and military presence, are prevalent and leave a lasting impact for generations to come thanks to the Cummer Museum.